The Galactic Academy's Xenobiology wing had seen many strange occurrences, but none quite like the scene unfolding in Habitat 7. Reese stood perfectly still as the small, furred creature circled his boots. The other cadets, a mix of Karathi, Vexians, and Trill, had already retreated to the far side of the observation deck, their training kicking in with practiced precision. Predator protocol was clear. Maintain distance, avoid sudden movements, signal for containment, but Reese just watched. The cub, no larger than a Terran house cat, was a juvenile Krithani, one of the apex predators from the Outer Rim's death worlds. Its species had evolved in environments so hostile that they developed retractable claws sharper than surgical steel, reflexes that could track prey moving at supersonic speeds, and a bite force that could crack titanium plating. Adult Krithani were responsible for 3 major colony evacuations in the past decade alone. This was Tavi, the Xenobiology Department's newest research subject, rescued from a failing ecosystem. At 6 months old, she was already showing the characteristic ridge patterns along her spine and the luminescent eyes that marked her species as nocturnal pursuit hunters. Cadet Reese, step back slowly, Instructor Velkar hissed through the comm system, her Karathi mandibles clicking with anxiety. Security is on the way. Reese didn't move. He'd read the briefing files. He knew what Tavi could become. But he also knew what she was right now, curious, confused, and probably hungry. Tavi's ears swiveled forward, analyzing the human. She'd encountered dozens of species since her arrival at the academy, but this one was different. No scales, no chitinous plating, no natural weapons visible. Just soft skin stretched over a frame that seemed almost fragile, compared to the armored cadets backing away. The cub took a tentative step closer. Behind the reinforced glass, Cadet Zrenix of the Vexian hierarchy clutched his datapad. The human's going to be eviscerated. Should we even record this? Humans, muttered Cadet Ylsara, a Trill whose species had perfected risk assessment algorithms over millennia. They're either the bravest or the stupidest species in the Federation. I can never decide which. Reese slowly crouched down, making himself smaller. It was a move that violated every predator response protocol in the Academy handbook. The other cadets gasped audibly. Tavi cocked her head, then did something unexpected. She chirped, a high-pitched sound that her species used for communication within family units. It was a greeting call, one that juvenile Krithani used when approaching pack members. Reese smiled. Hey there, little one. His voice was soft, carrying none of the sonic frequencies that most species used for dominance displays or threat signals. To Tavi's sensitive hearing, it was almost soothing. The cub approached further, sniffing at Reese's extended hand. Her whiskers twitched, processing chemical signals. No fear scent, no aggression pheromones. Just the strange, complex smell of human, salt warmth, and something else she couldn't quite categorize. Then, in a move that would be replayed in xenobiology classes for years to come, Tavi bunched her haunches and leaped. Reese, no! Instructor Velkar's voice cracked through the speakers, but Reese didn't flinch. He shifted his shoulder slightly, creating a stable platform, and Tavi landed gracefully, her claws retracting automatically as she found purchase on the fabric of his uniform. She scaled up to his shoulder in seconds, purring, a sound that resembled a diesel engine crossed with a circular saw. Reese grinned, that distinctly human expression that showed teeth but somehow conveyed joy rather than threat. Good girl. The observation deck fell silent. Tavi kneaded her paws against Reese's shoulder, the gesture reminiscent of contentment behaviors observed in Earth's ancient felines. She nuzzled against his neck, her purring intensifying. Drenix's mandibles hung open. How is he not dead? Hilzara was frantically checking her datapad, running analysis algorithms. This doesn't make sense. Krithani cubs are documented as having killed adult Vexian soldiers. The human should be registering as prey, but Reese just stood there, one hand gently steadying Tavi as she settled into her perch. He could feel the barely restrained power in her small body, the way her muscles coiled with potential energy. He knew that with one wrong move, those retracted claws could extend and tear through his carotid artery before he could blink. He also knew that wouldn't happen. You see, Reese said calmly to the other cadets, Earth had apex predators too. Big cats, wolves, bears, creatures that could kill us in seconds. But you know what humans did? He reached up slowly, scratching behind Tavi's ears. The cub's eyes half closed in pleasure. We domesticated them, not through dominance, but through something your species seemed to have forgotten in all your evolutionary arms races and survival adaptations. Reese's grin widened. We befriended them. Instructor Velkar entered the habitat cautiously, her weapon drawn but lowered. She'd been teaching at the academy for 20 cycles, and had seen human cadets do inexplicable things before. But this was different. "Cadet Reese," she said carefully. "Please explain your reasoning." Reese shrugged gently, mindful of his passenger. "She's a baby, ma'am. Babies need comfort, not protocols. They need someone who isn't afraid of them." He looked down at Tavi, who was now grooming his hair with her rough tongue. "Besides, on Earth we have a saying, even the fiercest predator was once someone's cute baby." Tavi chirped again, nuzzling deeper into the crook of Reese's neck. The incident report filed later that day would note that Cadet Reese had violated 14 separate safety protocols, ignored direct orders from a superior officer, and created an unprecedented xenobiological bonding scenario. It would also note that Tavi the Krithani cub had imprinted on a human, refused to leave his presence, and had subsequently become the Academy's first successfully socialized apex predator. The report's final line, written by Instructor Velkar herself, read, "Recommend further study of human pack bonding capabilities. They appear to be a survival trait more dangerous than any weapon." As Reese walked out of Habitat 7 with Tavi still perched on his shoulder, the other cadets parted like water, not out of fear but out of a dawning realization that perhaps humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their warfare capabilities. It was their inexplicable ability to make friends with anything that moved, even the things that really shouldn't be friends with them. Tavi purred louder, content in her new perch, while Reese just kept grinning that impossibly confident human grin.